Hi, and welcome to Coach's Corner, where systems matter and both personal and professional learning and development is beneficial for everyone and essential for some. As always, please like, subscribe, comment, share, and hit the notification bell. Let's get started.
And so, going into the, like you said, education, I don't know if you knew this, but the stat is out of the top 100 people that are the richest in the world, only 11 have MBAs, right? Which is the biggest thing you can get in business. Why do you think there is such a stigma on go to school, get an education, do this, you'll be rich, versus the 89 other people that did not go to school and are the richest in the world?
Tradition.
Yeah.
Right? Our whole school system is based off a tradition that makes zero sense. The whole school system, right? So the school system was created to be the factory worker. They go to work at 8, they get off at 3 or 4 or 5, whatever,
right.
And that's what they were teaching you to do. Or the fact that we would stop the learning. I mean, think about how many times you stop the learning in K-12 education.
Yeah.
So you get going starting at the end of August, and you get a couple good weeks, and then you give them a day off. And then you give them 3 days off at Thanksgiving. Then you give them 2 weeks. So it's like a fits and starts.
Right.
And so I think a lot of things that we do are based off of tradition. And so our habits, our customs, our rituals, our processes, our procedures, our systems, our structure, whatever you want to call that, is based off of, usually, there's some genetics and DNA in there, but it's usually based off of your environment.
Yeah.
Right? And so did you guys at your house always have a sit-down formal dinner, on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, where you guys all sat at the same table and that's how you did it and so on and so forth?
Not when growing up, no.
No, so that was not your tradition, right? Now, what about Sundays? Did you guys get together and have dinner and da-da-da? So that's your tradition.
Right.
So that's probably what you'll do.
Right.
And so if the tradition makes sense, thumbs up, which is what you guys should be doing, is hit the thumbs up button.
Yeah.
Right? But if it doesn't make sense, why are you doing it?
Right.
So I always, use similar, what I call touch points, analogies, metaphors, stories, different things of that nature.
Yeah.
And does the tail wag the dog? Or does the dog wag the tail? Right. So I don't mind if people traditionally are doing things based off of stuff that makes sense. I think a lot of times they're not.
Right.
That's to me, if there's nothing else through these videos, let's figure out that part of it.
Yeah. Got it. So we're gonna move into the first category, which I call young business owners. So
like you, young?
Yeah, well, yes, it could be anywhere from 10 years old to.
Oh yeah. I love the 10-year lemonade stand, baby.
Yeah. So how would a young, and I guess this is open for anyone, but for young business owners, how would they turn their passion into something that can make them money in a business?
Well, I think, let's just start with a process, no matter whether you're passionate about it or not. But just, starting a business is basically a 3-step process.
Okay.
Right? So step 1, you have to find a service or a product or what I call merchandise. The way I define those is a service is everybody defines it the same way.
Yeah.
Right? That's something you can help somebody with. But then you have a product, to me, is what we develop or what I would develop. I would call that a product. Okay. And then merchandise would be something that I would purchase from somebody else and then resell it. Okay. Right?
Yeah.
So that's the first thing. Now, I do agree with you a lot that if you were to take a look at, well, what would that be? What would a service or a product or a merchandise be? What are you passionate about?
Right.
What do you like?
Yeah.
Or what are you good at? Maybe you don't even like it and you're not passionate about it, but you're really good at it.
Yeah.
And that happens, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, there's some dudes that can flat sing, man, and they're like, I don't like to sing, I want to play football.
Right.
I'm like, dude, but you can sing. Well, I don't care.
Yeah.
Right? But that would be all in kind of step 1. And then step 2, what you have to do is you got to go get customers or clients, what I call POIs, people of interest.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
You got to go find them so that you can share with them, sell them, whatever them, on the service, product, or merchandise that you have.
Right.
And so I like to do that with what I call natural networking, real referrals, or what I would call traditional transmissions, which is, I don't know if that's the best term, but I got all these, Tourette problems, TTs and MMs and AAs and different things of that nature. But I think that's, all kind of step two. Where are you going to go find your clients and your customers or your POIs?
Absolutely.
Right. And then once you sell them, I think there's step three, which is take care of them.
Right.
Right. Almost at all costs. Right.
Yeah.
I mean, there's been many a time where, I knew that customer was in the wrong and I'm going to eat it because I know that the big picture is we can continue to help them, so on and so forth. Now, if they're a jackass or a donkey to one of my employees or something,
Yeah.
that's different. I'm like, you're done. Like,
Right.
I'm gonna school you. I'm gonna teach you a lesson. But if it's directed at me or whatever, I'm like, I'll take it. Most of the time.
Most of the time.
Yeah.
You can only push it so far.
Yeah, everybody. What did the guy say? I'm here, Huckleberry. My what did he say? My hypocrisy only goes so far, right?
Yeah.
In Tombstone or whatever with
Yeah.
Val Kilmer.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I love that. I'm like,
That's a good line.
I'm here, Huckleberry. I'm like, oh, I'm like, you know what? You can have my gun. I'm
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
Oh man. So for young, still going on the young business owners, would you say that, let's say for a 16-year-old,
Yeah.
has an idea he's gonna open his own business.
Yeah.
Would you suggest that he gets a job first, learns business type, how to work, different things like that, or no, go into opening your own business right away?
I don't think it matters. I think it can be either or a both and.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't start the traditional entrepreneurial route,
Okay.
right? So what I did was I was an employee,
Mm-hmm.
and so starting at 5 years old, I was an employee. I was getting paid to do chores around the house, and then when I was 8, I had 3 paper routes,
Right.
and I was an employee, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then as that was probably from like ages 8 to 11. And then I became an employee doing chores around the house, doing the yard, which for some reason we're middle class. We have the biggest, lot on the whole freaking block. So I did that. And then I continued to, just go down and I was an employee until I think I was like, I don't know, 40 years old or maybe 35 years old. I think the last 15, 17 years. But I showed signs of entrepreneurial tendencies. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I kind of did both and as I was going along, but I don't think it matters how you get there, right? I mean, in the end, you're a professional athlete. I know it didn't last long because you got injured, but as a professional, he was 1-0 though. The one professional event that he competed. But right, I mean, the bottom line is that did you care how you got there?
No.
Yeah, you just wanted to win.
Win, yeah.
Right? And your one professional event, nobody's even thinking about you. He's a decathlete, which is 10 events over 2 days. And everybody was looking at these 3 guys, which they were amazing. I mean, you can look at Nick. He's not very big, right? But you can't judge a heart how big it is inside. Well, anyway, there was 3 studs. I mean, that one dude could freaking high jump like 7 feet.
Yeah.
The other guy looked like freaking Lou Ferrigno or somebody, and then the other guy. So they're all piled up, and they don't even know what this guy's doing. And so on the last event, which is the 1500, he beats everybody by however many points, and they come up, and these 3 are all, I'm all that in a bag of chips, and they go, okay, Nick Zandish, you're the winner. Talk about crickets.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody was looking around, but in the end, you won.
Yeah.
So do you really care how you get there to be an entrepreneur? Does it matter if you start as an entrepreneur and go that direction? Does it matter if you start as an employee and go that direction and branch off? Does it matter? To me, it doesn't really matter. If you have a learner's mentality and understand, give your best at each and every level along the way, because this guy named God or Jesus or whatever your modus operandi is on that, he's teaching you lessons that will help you down the road, even if you can't see it right now.
Right.
Hindsight's 20/20.
Yeah.
You look back and you're like, oh,
yeah,
I see what you were doing there.
Right. Got it. And so going into, let's say, they did start opening their business at 18, 17, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
What would be, 2, 3 pieces of advice you would give them that you wish that maybe you had when you started your first business at 35 that, that you didn't think about?
Yeah, I think that, so when I go and consult, there's always 3 problemed areas. Okay. Number 1 is around mindset, the philosophy, the culture, there's a whole bunch of stuff that goes into mindset, but it's around the mindset.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 2 is what I call structured systems.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I come into play, people, because
Yeah.
I got that down to a science.
Right.
Right. So as a very little person, they call me Little Z because I was 4 foot and weighed like 8 pounds.
Yeah.
I think last time I said 3 pounds, but I've gained 5 pounds since,
Yeah.
right? And so you have to learn all the hacks, which I call systems hacks.
Mm-hmm.
They keep you going.
Right.
And then the third one are the people,
Okay.
right?
Now,
It's-
people who you work with, or people.
Whatever. So
Oh,
if
okay.
you're the entrepreneur, you could be the person. And if you're a donkey, you're going to probably continue to be a donkey. I mean, you could just not have the talent to be any good at it,
Mhm.
right? Or you may just be a donkey or a jackass,
Right.
right? But whether that's in a big organization, I mean, I've consulted where there's been 2,000 employees,
Yeah.
right? Spread all over California in 4 regions.
Yeah.
And so if the mindset's off at the top, then you go region by region. Guess what? By the time it gets down to the 19th person,
Yeah.
it's a mess,
Absolutely.
right? And the same thing with structured systems, which is really where people get into trouble. And so, not to talk trash about some of these large companies out there, but as an example, I don't bank with Bank of America anymore. And the reason I don't is because their customer service stunk. Now, I don't know, 15 years later, they may have got the right person in there that changed the culture and put some systems in place.
Right.
But I find that's not the case. We just did a mortgage and refinance. These guys, I keep lowering my payment like $300-$400. It's amazing, and I'm like, anyway, that's a whole nother thing. But they almost lost the deal with us, and so it's like you don't have systems in place. They just happen to have the right person that saved it.
Right.
This little gal, Alexa, right?
Yeah.
That was her name, Alexa. And so I wrote them a note and said, hey, you're lucky you have her because they saved, this business for you. And I know a fair amount of people, and I will let them know that, this was not so good.
Yeah.
And so on and so forth in there. So that's where a person was able to override. And the other part about it is this. So you ever been to Walmart and you go, hey, where's the licorice at? And you got the person that goes, oh, it's the third
Yeah.
tire, and you're like, come on, dude, this thing's huge, like, right?
Yeah.
So, and then you go in other times, same Walmart, different person,
Yeah.
and they'll say, let me walk you.
Right.
Now, that's the person, what I mean by that. Like, they get it, right? Versus if you go into whatever, a Walmart, and every Walmart you go into, it's the same, that's a system,
Right.
right? So these fast food places have systems. You get the same burger,
Yeah.
right? Pretty much no matter where you go. If you go to Carl Jr. or Mickey D's or whatever, you're going to get the exact, because they have a system.
Yeah.
And so then the next part of it is the mindset. What are you really trying to accomplish?
Right.
They have a saying or story, touch point,
Yeah.
the golden goose.
Mm.
So the golden goose is shooting out gold once a day, golden egg out of wherever it comes from.
Yeah.
Right? I don't think it comes out of their butt, but
Yeah.
wherever it comes from. And then finally the guy goes, chops off the head to go dive in there.
Right.
And they screwed it all up.
Yeah.
Right? Because their mindset was all about the money versus about, no, just, hey, this is good. This is really good.
Yeah.
Of course, we all want to get better,
Right.
but sometimes maybe not.
Yeah.
Maybe
absolutely.
it's good enough or it's really good, or
Yeah.
whatever.
Got it. And so this question actually doesn't come from me, but from a viewer.
Okay.
So it's a 16-year-old girl, and she wants to start her own makeup company.
I got a 15-year-old son.
Yeah.
Are you hot? No, I'm just kidding. I don't have a 16-year-old son.
She said, so with making my makeup brand, how can I be different than other makeup companies?
Well, I think there's a bunch of ways to be different, but the first thing that popped into my head is men's makeup.
Oh,
Now, I mean, we're on camera. Do you wear makeup?
I do not,
And I will not.
but I do know some guys that actually do. I mean, now that you bring that up, I'm like, I actually know like a few.
Well, there's a bunch.
Yeah.
I mean, even the sportscasters, they wear makeup,
Yeah.
right? And so I don't know if that's where we're all going, but it would not shock me,
Yeah.
right? So, what was the gal's name? Do you have that?
No,
Oh.
yeah, we did it anonymously.
Right, it was Sally Pants, whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, and so whoever that was, I think men's makeup in 10 years will be extremely popular. But discounting that, I think you got to just build brand
Yeah.
awareness. So if you're, Mary's Makeup or whatever, build that brand, because as a lot of technology starts to heighten,
Yeah.
that, the algorithms are going to change and different things like that. But if you have a brand, I would be like, hey, Alexa or whoever, I need Mary's Makeup, and that'll come up versus whoever's the best on the algorithm.
Right.
So you got, I would say build for the long term, but and that is long term, right? I mean, men's makeup isn't probably a big business right now. I don't know.
I don't either, but I would assume
it's not as big as women's business. I can tell you that, because
true.
you can go look at the 47 hair products that my wife has, right?
Yeah.
I tell her to brush her teeth and put on a hat. She looks fine, but anyway, but I would say that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you, and hopefully
You're like,
everything-
business idea.
Yeah, but absolutely. No, I wouldn't take that. But that's funny.
If you need to contact Brett or Coach, please do so on his social media accounts, email, and or text. You can find that information in the description below. Again, please like, subscribe, comment, share, and hit the notification bell. Thanks, and we hope you enjoyed.
Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing.